Hey everybody, so this is my nail tech.
Hi, my name is Emily. I've been a nail tech for 4 years, and today we're gonna do a fun intermediate nail design. It's gonna be floral and butterfly combo. Okay, so to start off, we're gonna start by prepping the nail. You're gonna need a file, a buffer, and some pH bond to prep the nail. And then once we do that, we're going to start with our base coat, and then we will add a color and then the design, and then we'll top it off with a top coat. Okay, once you have your items for your nail prep, we are going to get the file and we are going to buff out the top layer of the nail. Make sure you hold down the free edge of the nail, which is the skin around the nail. And you're just gonna buff it out. Once it's kind of buffed out, you're gonna get a piece of a paper towel and you're just gonna wipe off the excess nail dust. And once you do that, you are gonna get a buffer and just kind of buff out the nail. And the buffer just kind of smooths out your nail. And then it should look something like this. And with a clean paper towel, and just kind of wipe off the dust. And then we are gonna go to our next step. Okay, so now we are gonna go with our pH bond, which is a nail dehydrator. The nail dehydrator removes any oils on the nail. The reason why we use a nail dehydrator is because it helps our gel polish to stick and last longer. Okay, so for our next step, we are gonna start off with a base coat. This base coat is by OPI, and this base coat is a primer. The reason why we use a base coat, it helps to prevent the nail from any stains from the colors we will be using. And not only that, it helps the color last longer as well. Okay, so after applying a thin layer of the base coat, you're gonna bring out your UV light and make sure you leave it in for a good minute. This will harden the nail by curing it. Once we're done curing the base coat, we are going to start off with our base color. This color is by Gelish and it is called Once Upon a Mani. Cure after each coat. Make sure to add a second coat before the design. So these are some of the colors we're going to be using to make the floral design. You don't have to use these exact colors. You can use any colors you feel like using. So once you pick the colors you want to use for your floral design, you're going to need some of your tools. Preferably if you have 2 different sizes of dotting tools. I have these 2 right here, and then also a thin paintbrush as well. If you don't have any of these, you can always go use a toothpick or the end of a bobbing pin as well. Okay, so first, if you have a piece of foil, that really helps. We're just gonna pick our first color, and we're just gonna add a little dot onto our foil. And next we are going to get our dotting tool, preferably the bigger dotting tool, and we're going to dip into our color, and we are going to just put a dot onto the nail like this. Once you do that and you feel like your flower is a good enough size, we are going to go on to the next color, and just make sure you wipe off your dotting tool with a cotton or a paper towel. And we're going to go on to the next color, add that to our foil, and dip it with our dotting tool. And we're going to do another dot. And this doesn't have to be perfect, it's just freehanding however you feel like you want your flowers to be. And usually after every dot, I like to go back to my UV light and I like to cure it before I move on to the next colors. Okay, so once you have finished curing the first 2 dots, we are gonna go in with the other colors. And also, if you don't have very many colors, you can always mix. So right now we are going to make a green color, which I don't have, but we are gonna mix yellow and blue to make green. You can just go back with your dotting tool and just mix until you have the desired green color or whatever color you are trying to accomplish. And once you like your green color, we are gonna go back. We're gonna go with our nail brush, and we are going to make a leaf. Just get a little bit more product. And this is how it should look. Now we are going to add the dots in the middle of our flowers. So I just add. And like I said, you can do any color that you want for the middle of your flower. And it should look like so. And after every dot, it's always good to go back and cure it just to make sure it stays. So then after you have cured it, we are gonna go in with our nail brush, and using the black, we're just gonna add some filling, which just kind of gives it a little bit more filling and not just all flowers. And it kind of almost looks like a branch, but we're just gonna add like dots on the side or at the tip of the little branch. So it should look something like that. And then we can go back in with our dotting tool and just kind of add a couple of dots at the end just to kind of bring it all together. Okay, so now we are gonna add some blue leaves. You can get your blue color and go back with our nail brush.
So what inspired you to become a cosmetologist?
Growing up with my mom as a licensed cosmetologist really inspired me to follow in her footsteps, and once I became licensed, I gravitated more to the nail side of cosmetology.
What keeps you inspired in your work?
Honestly, just seeing other people's nail art posts on social media. Now to complete the leaf, we're just gonna go back with the black and just add some little lines just to outline the leaf a little bit. Something like this. And then we're gonna go now into our white, and we're just gonna add some more filling and just add a little bit of white dots. It should look like that. Okay, so now for our butterfly, we are gonna start by outlining our butterfly. And this is also just by freehanding, however you want your butterfly to look like. We're gonna start by making the body first.
What are some of the positives and challenges to your work?
One positive thing in my line of work is the trends are always changing, so there's always something new and exciting to create. And that being said, to people always wanting to have the newest style, it can become time consuming, which calls for lots of patience. Should look something like this, and we're just going to cure it, and we can go back and re-outline it to make the black a little darker. Once you have gone back to re-outline it, we are going to now start shading the inside of it. So I'm going to start with blue, and this doesn't have to be perfect. You can just kind of just tap it in there. Now we're gonna dip into our other color. I'm gonna be using yellow, and I'm just gonna kind of put it at the edge. You can overlap it just to give it kind of an ombre or a melt into the blue. Kind of makes it like a little green in the middle when you mix them.
If somebody's debating going into cosmetology, what would you tell them?
If you are great with people and have a good sense of business and are passionate about the beauty industry, you'll probably love being a cosmetologist. And it should look something like that. Okay, and then once you have cured those two colors, this is optional, but I just like to add a little bit more color. So I'm just gonna go in with pink, and I'm just gonna do some pink little taps. Just add a little bit more different color. And it should look like this. Okay, so once you have filled in the butterfly with the colors that you want, we are going to add little dots to the antennas. And after we do that, we are going to get our small dotting tool, and we're going to dip into white, and we are just going to add some filling onto the butterfly just to make it a little different. Okay, so once after you have completed all your designs, we are going to top it off with a top coat and then cure under the light. And now we have completed our finished look. We already have the top coat, and lastly we're just going to add a nourish, which is an oil for the cuticles, and you just need a little bit. Just massage that into the cuticles. our finished design, floral and our butterfly. Here is both of the hands. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have fun creating this design.